Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Global Love Revolution. Today, I have a guest from the far east of Australia, Mamta Kochhar. Welcome, Mamta.
Thank you, Rachel. Really happy to be here, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity to talk to you and all these evolutionary women.
Oh, I just, I feel like always in your presence, I can talk about a lot of different things, and I just feel such an honor to have you with us and share your wisdom. So today our discussion is going to be about feminine power, right? And you talk about the women nowadays, it's kind of like they're losing the freedom and they lose the voice of themselves to be able to step up what is the right thing for them. So Manda, can you share with us what is definition of feminine power?
Um, Women may have forgotten their power, but they never lost their power.
Hmm.
Um, Femininity is a power unto itself that creation cannot be without, you know.
Hmm.
Um, I am a Hindu, and in our Hinduism, there is a image of the Lord Shiva, who is the Lord of destruction.
Hmm.
And he is half man and half woman. Shiva is supposed to be an image of integration.
Mhm.
Creation cannot be without a man and a woman. Man is powerful and knows it. Women are powerful and they have forgotten it.
Oh,
They
wow.
have forgotten it because of many reasons, and there is no need to go into those reasons and relive those reasons and be angry about those reasons. There is no need. The only metaphor that I can give you for the power of a woman is that we hid our power under a bushel. And there is a very powerful prayer or that used to be in a school that I used to work in, and it was hide it under a bushel, oh no, I will let it shine. So when a woman decides that she's going to allow her light to shine, her power can light the world. When it is hiding under the bushel, she's still powerful, but she's too scared to come into her power. That's the only difference.
Hmm. So Manda, what are the root cause of this social issue, that cause a women not to, like you say, hidden under the bush? Why they choose that?
It doesn't matter why we chose that, Rachel. The thing that is important is how does it manifest
Mm.
and what can women do about it? Because what we are interested in is that even if it is under the bushel, and there are more and more women who are allowing their light to shine, there are. And that is a very hopeful um, phase in our evolution. When women have decided that, you know what, I'm just going to be who I am. I'm choosing not to hide it anymore under the bushel that I was under, because it's not about me anymore. It is about we, you know. Women have realized that their circle is not so small that
Mhm.
it's just me and my family. They had confined themselves too small, and they've decided, you know what, I'm just going to open up. I'm going to make my circle bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm going to do it in a way that everybody that comes in that circle is benefited.
Oh.
So what is important is how does the hiding of the power manifest itself, and what can women do about it? Because it's very simple. It is so simple that it is right there, and everybody knows about it, but
Mhm.
you used a word earlier on, step up. It's just too scary to step up sometimes because the mind comes in the way. So there are three things, Rachel, and I know that we have spoken about. The first among them is curiosity.
Mm.
When a woman is not in her power, she stops being curious. The wonder and the amazement at the unfoldment of life, every single moment is gone. Life becomes routine, life becomes mundane, life becomes too easy, in other words. A woman who is curious is always wanting not only to see what life is about, she's more importantly curious to the men in her life.
Mm.
She is wondering how powerful they are being. Okay. And she is also very mindful of always elevating them, always lifting them,
Mhm.
always worshiping them with her words, with her thoughts, with her prayers. She can see when the man is not being in her power, whether it's her son or her brother or her husband or her co-worker, whoever that man is, or her partner. When the man is not being in her power, she is so mindful because of her curiosity
Mhm.
that she is able to nudge him back into his power very lovingly,
Wow.
very compassionately.
Mm.
So curiosity, when a woman is no longer feeling that curiosity in her, she has to know that I am no longer in my own power. And anybody who is being the victim will become the perpetrator at some time. The second thing that people lose, or that women lose when they are not in their power, is their openness.
Mm.
When we look at the most favored position for women to conceive a child, which is what our privilege is, that we are able to birth,
Yeah.
is that she is open to the man to receive the sperm into her womb.
Yes.
Opening means that you have to be vulnerable, you have to be fragile, and those are the best qualities that were given to a feminine.
Mm.
But we got so hurt along the way that we decided to shut our fragility and our vulnerability because we were not going to be hurt anymore. And we became too much of a militant, we became too much of an activist. Don't get me wrong. I believe that frustration and anger can be very positive forces, and they were. Women like the feminists before us were able to get us the voting rights and the right to work and the right to equality, and I am ever so grateful to those powerful women before me
Mhm.
whose actions have brought us to this point that you and I are freely talking, and we are able to have a channel where women can listen all over the world. Women can listen to our thoughts. I mean, how powerful a phase of life are we in? We are truly evolved in that sense.
I agree. We are really living in the most comfortable, I say comfortable generation, and it's a blessing that we have this what we call the internet that connect all over the place. But one thing I notice is we are not a joyful generation. We're still trying to work on that, and it's just like Manta, you kind of bring us into, first thing is about curiosity, and this is something is not just about for women. I think for men as well, you need to have that curiosity in doing everything we are doing, at your work, in your relationship, dealing with your children. You need that curiosity kind of like spy up your life a little bit, be more playful. And then the second one, it's also very key, openness, right? Openness is so much more when you're open, when you're being able to be open up the self, the part of you that is giving to others, and in return you feel like, wow, what we built together, it's like a heart connection. And the quote that I always hear, like two souls become one. I think that's really related to that. When you're open, people can receive what you are actually giving, and it become like a kind of like a lotus, just open the flower. It's so beautiful.
And the lotus is a perfect example of the flowering. And you are so right that it is for men and women both. But for the woman, it is important because if she has, the two things we've talked about, curiosity and openness, then
Mhm.
she can give birth to men who are also in that. And femininity is not just in the woman, femininity is in a man also.
Mm.
And when men are able to be feminine when they need to, sensitive and compassionate when they need to, and strong and powerful when they need to, that is the most beautiful man that you will ever come across. A man who is able to maneuver into his femininity and then maneuver back into his masculinity and stay in the middle can only be born by a woman who is curious and open.
Wow. Wow, this is a beautiful way to put it. So, men out there, if you're watching this, just, you have the femininity in yourself, but you just
They
need
do.
how to maneuver it and just kind of find your balance. And perhaps join force with a woman and create
Always,
solution.
always join forces.
Yes.
It's a dance. The relationship between the man and the woman is a dance.
Mm.
If we are stepping back when we need to and stepping forward when we need to, and we are in kind of sync and alignment with one another, it'll be a beautiful sexual tango that we are playing,
Wow, love.
Whereas if we are out of sync and out of alignment, and one of us is not curious and one of us is not open, then we are going to step on each other's toes, and we are going to have problems. And the, and that brings me to the third thing that a woman, must be looking out for, and that is respect.
Mm.
You know, curiosity and openness without respect, um, I dare say that they are not possible even, but they are not complete, definitely without respect. A woman who is able to respect the women around her, the women in her life, will learn from them the leadership that they have given to the men in their life, and she will imbibe that collective wisdom of all the women in her own life. She will be able to imbibe the collective wisdom of the women. And women are so wise because they are spiritual. We are circular. We are the nurturers. Man wants to put his seed and move on. Man is about creation, creation, creation. But the woman is about nurturing and allowing the total flowering. And without her womb, the sperm cannot become the fetus and the human that it needs to become.
Wow.
So is she is the one who needs to respect the seed, and she needs to be the one who respects each individual seed as different. And because it is the one energy that is manifesting itself in so many myriad forms, whether it is our garden, whether it is our home, whether it is our children, whether it is our company. Everything is so different from each other.
Mhm.
We cannot be the mom cannot be the CEO from the office, and the one that is cooking in the kitchen cannot be the one who goes and runs the marathon or works out in the gym. They are, they are so different. And it is only the woman who can be the chameleon, that can change the color so easily. And so, the moment she comes into the presence of her sons and her daughters, she's a completely different mommy, than if she was on the call at 2 seconds later, if she's on call to the office, she's being the CEO. You should see her voice changing. You can see her demeanor changing. Her way of looking at things changes around her. A woman can truly be a chameleon, and that chameleon can give rise to a man, can give birth to a man who is happy to be a chameleon as well. Maneuverability and adaptability and flexibility in men, if you want to see that in action, you have to see Tony Robbins in action. That man is on the stage, lifting you up with his, he does a little clap thing on his stage, and he does that. And the next moment he's telling you the story and he's all tears. And he's talking to a woman in the audience, and he's able to bring out the femininity in her, so easily, because he's the kind of man, he's quite comfortable being in the feminine and being in the masculine. He knows that his masculinity is not under question just because he is crying. We need men like that more and more. We need men who are strong enough to say, what, I think I might be going into depression and I need help. I think I might have a mental health issue, and I am okay to get support from, a woman.
All right. So Mata, you just talk about, the class example about Tony Robbins, right? He is really, I agree with you. He's really a class example of an evolutionary man, that knowing, like you talk about the three quality of a man, if you can possess of how you can, adaptability, you're talking about flexibility, and also maneuverability. Yeah, so if you can actually possess this and then work with the women and learn to reach out when you're doing your tough time, then you'll be able to create a beautiful life that we're all yearning for. I kind of want to believe that, it doesn't matter whether you're man or woman. What we're all yearning for, it's one thing: love and connection. It's really, we're born with that. But somehow, in some way, when we grow up, we not lost, like you say, it's like we forgot where we came from. So I think you just illustrated so beautifully, talking about, how men and women should work together. Now, Manda, I'm curious. So you talk about curiosity. I do have a curiosity about how do you came to a point of discover all this knowledge about feminine power, and understanding about how men and women should work together in a harmonious way. How do you, when was that starting for you?
So I define myself as a seeker. I'm somebody who has probably been on the path, since my childhood, but I had a turning point. There was a turning point in my life that came in 2013. And it was the most weird thing that happened, because it was so unlikely that it would have happened. So unlikely. My husband and I, we like traveling. And that year, it was my birthday in 2013. And we decided to go to Japan. And not because of any other reason, but because it was so cheap that it fitted into our budget, honestly speaking.
Okay.
And my husband booked us into the hotel, and we generally like to keep the first day just to ourselves, not book ourselves into anything, just to explore where we are. And by the freakiest of the chances, we landed ourselves in the best hotel that there could have been, because we were right in the heart of the business district in Minato, in Tokyo. And my husband and I, we got ready, and we had a few hours, and my husband said, let's go and take a stroll. And we were joking and laughing with each other. And he said, oh, okay. So we reached a T point. Which way do you want to go? And we have this dialogue that we say to each other, all the time. It comes from a Hindi movie, but I'll translate for you in English.
Okay.
And that is, when everything in life is right, take a right. So I said to him, when everything in your life is right, take a right. And we took a right. And as we took the right, I saw a big red door, and I said to him, this seems quite significant. I didn't know anything about the Japanese culture. And so he said, okay, let's go check it out. And we are quite, both of us are quite curious by nature. We like exploring and
Mm.
things like that. So we went through that sort of doorway. And lo and behold, it was a Buddhist temple of a sect that I had never heard about. It was called the Zojoji sect, which, even now, after having been there, I haven't heard much about Zojoji except what I have, researched. But the most beautiful thing about that temple was, and it was not on the tourist trail, so it didn't come up on any of the researches that I had done before booking myself into the trips and things like that. So I didn't know that it existed. But Rachel, what happened was that in the courtyard of that temple, there was a statue of the Buddha as a woman,
Oh,
and I just could not stop crying. I just broke down, and I read that he was represented as a woman because compassion
mm,
is what he represented, and compassion is a feminine quality.
wow.
And I could not stop crying because that was the moment where my own floodgates to compassion had opened. I had, through my years of being a strong woman and a free woman and an independent woman, how we can get, we are very, kind of, I can handle this and I don't need this. And I had lost, on that compassion that helps women to connect. You talked about love and connection a little while earlier. I had lost on that connection. I had lost on that compassion that allows you to connect
Mm,
with things and beings around you fully. I was connecting. Don't get me wrong. I had a very happy life before that also. And I have been very blessed with um, fruitful relationships in my life, you know.
mm,
But I realized that I wasn't even being 10% of the woman that I was meant to be. It was an opening that I cannot even explain what it did to me. And I feel that it was a bend in my life journey. And it was a bend because it happened in September that I was in that Sojoji temple.
mhm,
And following December, I decided to go for Vipassana, which is exactly 3 months after that. I decided to go for my Vipassana meditation with this, which is a Buddhist meditation, and it's a quiet retreat. Okay, so your first course is when you are simply quiet in your space. You don't look at anybody, you don't talk to anybody, you haven't got a phone, you haven't got anything to write, you haven't got anything to read. And all you do is you sit and you meditate from 4 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. And they teach you step by step how to be with the sensations that are in the body. And different people are different, and I'm not saying to anybody that Vipassana is the only way and or anything of that sort, not at all. But for me, that was the way. I had been on a spiritual journey for a very long time. I had finished reading the Bhagavad Gita, which is our biggest Hindu scripture.
mm,
All of that I had done before that, but nothing allowed me to connect with my own potential as much as Vipassana did. And the same December, I decided to do my strategic intervention life coaching course with Tony Robbins, the same December. And I have never looked back since. I think the platform at which I am playing and the kind of stepping up that I have been able to do after that incident in the temple in Tokyo,
mhm,
I could never have dreamed about it. Rachel, you don't plan those kind of things. You don't,
mm,
people believe that they can chart out, 20 years hence or something. I have become so open and so curious and so respectful to life since that incident,
Mhm.
that I believe, you know what, the next moment might have something completely different
Mm.
to offer. And I must receive it fully. You spoke about receiving before, men and women receiving from one another. And I think it is so important to receive, but you can't unless you are open. If your doors are closed, you are never going to be able to receive the things that are knocking on your door. There is that image of the Christ knocking on the door which doesn't have a handle. And somebody questioned, there is a mistake in this picture.
Yeah.
The door doesn't have a handle, so how is Christ going to come into the house? And the reply by the painter was, this is the door to the heart. It can only open from within. It can
Wow.
only open from within. And so in my case, that visit to the Zojoji temple opened my door from within, and I was able to allow myself to be hurt sometimes, to be vulnerable, to be fragile, to know that relationships, have so much love to offer, that love does hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. My strength lies in not scattering because of the hurt. My
Mm.
strength lies in staying together, even when the hurt is, and cushioning that hurt, and knowing, being curious to know where is that hurt coming from. And,
Mm.
let me receive it and nurture it in my being, just as I nurtured the sperm in my womb twice. I have two beautiful 27 and 26-year-old sons. And, I always feel that whatever life offers, sometimes it can hurt, but receive it. Receive it openly, receive it in its fullness, in its completion, and see what it can turn into. I lost my brother in 2008, and he was 38 years old. And I realized that some gifts are wrapped in wrappers
Mm.
that when you look at them, you cannot even think that there could be a gift in it. You think it's disgusting. I hate it. I don't like it. It's too painful. Why did it happen to me? Believe me, I've been through that, all of that. But if you take the courage to receive it, just receive it and keep it with you for a while and watch, what it is. And then take the courage, step up to start unfolding it. The gems that it reveals are just, they are just the crown, they are just the gems in the crown of the queen that you are meant to be. Every woman is meant to be a queen. Every woman is a royal, regal queen, and she should be treated like one, but she first has to start treating herself like one. It all comes from inside. When you begin to live life inside out, it's a phrase that everybody uses but nobody understands.
Yeah.
Very few understand. Some women do.
But Manta, first of all, I want to say thank you for sharing the part of you that you open up so much. You've been so vulnerable about sharing this part of you that you are a living example of your teaching. You're talking about that three part curiosity. You came out from the curiosity state of mind when you enter the temple. And second is that you actually have an open heart, because without the open heart and you're not receiving the message the Buddha is sending you, and you won't burst out in tears. And third is you have a self-respect. You know it's going to be hurt, but you also know the hurt is going to turn into something beautiful, and you accept that. And so Mata, lead to this, can you tell us a little bit about the feminine virtue, of compassion? You say this is one of the quality that we as a woman has. So what's your definition on that? And Could you share with us?
So my definition of compassion is very practical. Um, I believe in being open and very curious and very respectful to what is happening in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and give it love, and give it the acceptance that it is what it is. But my definition is very practical because I believe in very firm boundaries. Women have to get a lot better at saying no, um, as compared to what they have done so far. We we have to realize that being compassionate does not mean being a doormat.
Mm.
We have to also understand that yes, we are nurturers, but um, we are also deserving, I guess is the word, of coming into the fullness of who we are. So don't compromise on on your happiness. If your happiness lies um, in sacrificing your career for the sake of the man in your life, by all means, go for it. And don't apologize to anybody that, I gave up my career for the sake of a man. Do not apologize to anybody. But if your happiness lies in pursuing your own career at the cost of the career of the man, and at the cost of sometimes the education of your children, because they will have to be moving around a lot with you, and therefore they will not be able to have the stable friendship circle that they deserve, by all means go for it. Say no to the things that don't give you happiness, but
Mm.
follow a very golden rule in your life, which men and women and any being that is on this planet must follow. And that is it good for me? Is it good for those around me?
Mm.
And is it good for everybody? This is the golden rule of Vipassana. We call it Nij Hit, Par Hit, Sarv Hit.
Oh,
Hit means good. Nij means my good. Par means other, others good.
okay.
Sarv means everyone, everyone's good.
So niche.
If a woman, and only a woman has the capacity to do that all the time, if
Mm.
a woman is able to judge and discriminate and discern that whatever decision she is making will make her happy, will make the others around her happy, and make the whole happy, believe me, she has the power, and we started with power. She has the power to integrate the three circles. These are concentric circles. I am in the center. I am at the center of this first circle, that is me. And then the next circle is those around me. And the biggest circle is everyone around me, everyone that exists on this planet. If you are able to discern your decisions on that, say no to everything else. Feel free to say no. Be strong to say no. Be firm to say no to everything that does not fit on that criteria, that does not, because for every woman the criteria will be different. Every woman, some women find their fullness in being a sister, some women find their fullness in being a wife, some women find their fullness in being the CEO, some women find their fullness in being a mom.
Mm.
You have to find out. And some, like myself, find it in many, many, many different things. We want the multi-fold definition. And by all means, go for that. There is a way to integrate those things as well. And nobody is saying it's easy. Nobody is saying it is not fraught with hurt, and there will be times when you will be fragile, and there are times when you will have to be vulnerable, and there are times when you will cry, and there are times when you will need support from women like and by all means reach out. Take a coach. I am a coach myself, and I have not one teacher but many teachers, and the group that both of us are on together, Mind Valley. It's one of the groups that I am on. And that is because when I know that I have to step up, and if I'm not stepping up myself, then anybody that I touch will never be able to step up. I can forget about that goal. Others that are connected with me will step up only when I am constantly stepping up every day, every hour, every moment. Step up. Say
Wow.
no.
I love it,
Say
Martha.
no.
You're just so firm, I have there is so much golden wisdom here, guys. So women, learn to say no to the thing that is not serving your purpose. If you know what you want, don't allow any barriers to build up, or don't let anyone to kind of get in your way, just to learn one thing. No today, that's your word. So Manda, share with us, what is your core message for the world? It seems like you have so much thing. I know you have so much passion about different things, but what is your mission, you think you are working on? What's the message of that compassion, right, lead to your path right now? What are you currently working on? Could you share with us?
Um, I am a life coach. I'm also, I happen to be, and I spoke about integration, and I have been very lucky to come to this point in my life where I am able to integrate a lot of things. If there is one word that will describe me, if there is one constant that is in my life that has always been there, and that is being a seeker, being a learner. And the purpose behind that learning and the purpose behind that seeking is evolution. I think human beings are evolution oriented. We have been evolving, and we will continue to evolve because there is no limit to which we can evolve. That is what I firmly believe in. Being a seeker, I was seeking, what I wanted to do, and being a life coach is something that comes naturally to me because I'm a teacher. I have been a teacher for the past, 30 odd years. But in Western Australia, I am a teacher in what is called the Adult Migrant English Program, which is an Australian government program for migrants and refugees. And being a migrant myself to Australia, I can empathize with the issues of migrants. So I have been able to bring together my teaching, my life coaching, and my compassion for refugees and migrants together so beautifully that I could not be more fulfilled in my life. And the current thing that I'm working on is contributing to the world through not just my life coaching, because I conduct webinars and seminars and workshops through my life coaching, which is called Breakthrough Coaching. The website is coming up very soon. I also have a not-for-profit organization here in Western Australia, which is called United in Diversity. And we work for social cohesion. Because having seen the plight of countries like England and America, where they have been multicultural, but they did not quite hone on it as much as we need to. So in Australia, I think we may not be doing a perfect job at it, but we have definitely learned from the experiences of other countries. And social cohesion is one thing that that is a big thing in the Australian community. But I believe in making nouns into verbs. Action is my thing. And so the action that I have taken is that I have created this not-for-profit organization, which is not because I wanted to create something different. There are many not-for-profit organizations already existing who are doing similar work. But the problem is that not-for-profits get caught into their KPIs and ticking the boxes.
Right.
And the people on the ground, sometimes they just fall through the cracks, and it has been 10 years, 15 years, and they still have not really integrated into the community. And I happen to be in a very privileged position where I come in touch with these people every single day of my life. And I made it my mission to bring these people who've fallen through the cracks in spite of the best intentions and in spite of all these not-for-profits, to come in contact with these organizations, to act as a bridge in a sense, to bring them together to the information and the networks that they need, so that every member of United in Diversity can be off welfare and standing on their own 2 feet firmly, being self-reliant, not just for themselves, but also many like them. And I always, in our group, we have a slogan that I will stand on my own 2 feet and I will support others to stand on their 2 feet as well. So that's the ripple effect that we are looking for. And I'm very excited about the future of not just my breakthrough coaching, but also I'm really, really enjoying the thrilling journey that United in Diversity is on. And we are a supportive group of women, and we believe that there is nothing that we cannot create.
Wow. Oh, wow, Manta. That's so beautiful. You are mission-driven, oriented woman. I love it. So, guys, if you want to find out more about what Manta is working on, and if you're interested in her life coaching, there's a link below. You can click on it and connect with her. So, last question for you, Manta. How do you define an evolutionary woman?
Well, besides what the 3 qualities that I said, at the start in our conversation, curiosity, respect, and openness, an evolutionary woman is a seeker of stability within her. I am a follower of Tony Robbins, and he talks a lot about internal states. And one of the states that I always teach my clients to be, and I will urge the women and men who are on this call to be in, is an internal state of worship. Worship those who are in your life. Worship what they stand for. Yes, they are flawed human beings just like you are. Yes, you have to have a sense of humor about their mistakes and flaws, just as you must have a sense of humor about your own flaws. But be in a stable state of worship for your husband, for your father, for your brother, for your friend, for your sister, for your mother, for your co-worker. Take care of each other. There are those around us who are being a little weak at times. Be compassionate towards them. Lift them up, but be very careful not to allow them to lean on you so much that they become dependent on you. Do not cripple them. Do not smother people with your love. Lift them with your love. Build them with your love. Make them stand up with your love and say to them, now you are free. Go. Be what you want. You have infinite potential in you, just as I have. And I know, I can see the potential in you. When you worship, people are able to see in your eyes their own potential. You reflect their potential back to them. And that's what I urge everybody to be in that state and see the miracle.
Well, thank you so much, Manta. That is such a wisdom. I receive a lot. Do you guys receive a lot? Well, remember this. See, an evolutionary, it doesn't matter you're man or woman. If you're on the evolutionary path, just being a worshiper, respect each other, be curious about your own life journey and also others, then you can create a beautiful life that you dream of. So, lastly, I want to say this: love yourself, love others, and do something that matters for the world, because together we can create this, what I call global love revolution. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Mantar, again. And see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Rachel.